Hey guys, Marvin here. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can integrate your Podio to Zillow so that you can pull information for your property addresses just using GlobiFlow. So as you can see on my screen, I have a very simple seller leads app with a test data for John Smooth with the location of 7471 East Random Ridge Drive, Tucson, Arizona 85710. And what I did here is just I basically updated this location field, and as you can see, seller leads app was able to pull information right from Zillow just using GlobiFlow. So just to prove to you that this is via GlobiFlow, if I hover on the thunder icon right there, that's via GlobiFlow. So let's get started. First things first, we want to check up our app. So let me modify template on the seller leads app. Of course, we just have a very simple template right here. First field is just a seller or our full name for our seller lead, which is just a single line text field. Next field is our, of course, property address or the location. It's a very important thing to have this on a multi-line address setting. I'll explain that to you in a bit. But yeah, you have to have that on a multi-line setting. And then another single line text field for our Zillow property ID, and some other necessary fields for us to have are the beds and the bath, which could be the single line text fields as well. You could have other fields that you want to pull from Zillow your own. You can easily add that as well. Alright, now let's go to our flow now. And as I've said, I wanted to trigger this whenever somebody updates the property address for my seller lead, just like what I did here. So basically I want this to be triggered when an item is updated in my seller leads app, and if the field location value has just changed. So whenever somebody changed the property address field, pull all information that it can from Zillow immediately. So we need to create a variable first right here for our address street. That's gonna get the lead location field address part. So if you would go back to the app, that's gonna be this part right here, 7471 East Random Ridge Drive. We're gonna pull that to our variable address street, but we are going to replace all the spaces right here with a plus sign. So instead of 7471 space east, that's gonna be plus east plus random plus ridge plus drive. Alright, and the second variable is just concatenating city plus state plus postal code or zip code. So that's gonna be Tucson plus Arizona plus 85710. That's gonna be our second variable. Alright, but do not combine first and second variable. That's two different variables that you must have. And then the third action right here would be the remote post or get. So if you want to pull that up, that's going to be at the most bottom part of the flow right here, remote post or get action. And make sure that this setting is a get, since we want to pull a get HTML request or HTTP request from Zillow. Name the variable whatever you like. I just named mine search query, and then take note of this URL right here. Pause the video if you would like so that you could see the actual URL. It's http://www.zillow.com/webservice/GET SEARCH .htm. Alright, that's gonna be the URL. Now This URL would need couple of parameters right here. So let me just walk you through it one by one. First parameter that we're going to have is the ZWS-ID. Right. ZWS-ID or ZWS ID, that's gonna be your Zillow ID. If you sign up in Zillow, you go to your account settings. That's where you can generate your own ZWS ID. You'll get gibberish, a bunch of characters like this. That's gonna be important on this integration as well. So get your own. Of course, mine is just a test. I'm gonna deactivate it after this video. But yeah, it's very easy to generate and it's free as well. Right, once you have that, you would need to include an ampersand right here so that we can have our second variable, which is our address. So address equals our variable address street. So this one right here, we are supplying it to our address parameter right here. Right, after that, after you include your variable address street, you want to have another ampersand, and then you want to include city, state, zip without spaces or anything. That's CITY, STATE, ZIP, and then equals, and then the variable that you just created for city and state and zip code, which is right here. Alright, what this action does is basically it, of course, first checks if the property address that you inputted on your seller leads app property address field or location field is even existent in the Zillow database. Of course, not all addresses in the world will be existing in Zillow database, so you would need to check that first if that's existing. If that's going to be existing, it's gonna return to us a code which would be the 0 right here, which I placed on the comment section of my item, and it's gonna return a Zillow message request successfully processed. If it returns any other code, that means it could be that Zillow do not have any information of that address. Right, so of course, once you complete the query right here, you would want to parse out the information that's returned from this query. So I want to capture the text, which is the return message right here, the request successfully processed, and then the code, which is if it's 0, that means successful, and the ZP ID, which is a Zillow property ID, which I also place on my app as a field right in here. So these are variables as well. Again, pause the video if you would like, screenshot this, capture this onto your flow, but that's basically preg match gf open parenthesis double quote. That's gonna be shift quote on your keyboard / text, which is a tag that's less than text and then greater than sign, and then open parenthesis dot asterisk question mark close parenthesis less than sign / /backslash text greater than sign /ism double quote comma, and then the variable, which is your search query right here. After the variable, there's a comma, and then space 1, and then close out the parenthesis for the preg match gf. Basically, what happens here is that when search result succeeds, it will return an XML data that looks like this right here. So you want to find the value inside the text tag, which is right here. As you can see, our code contains this text. We're basically capturing what's inside those tags, which is right here, request successfully processed. And of course you would want to do that with the code. So you want to create a variable, name that code, just copy the code and then paste it right here. Just replace it with this part. Oops. Just replace this part right here. So of course it's just the tags that's gonna be changed, code, and then this one, code. Everything should be the same. And last but not least, very important, is the Zillow property ID. Same thing. Only the tags will change right here. So ZPID, ZPID. If we go to Zillow page to check that, ZPID is right here. Alright. And just to be clever, I want to put that on a comment field just so I could see whatever message and code it throws back to me. But if you are confident enough that it's gonna succeed, you don't have to do this. This is just an option that you could do so that you have visibility on what's happening. But one of the most important thing is that you have to save the Zillow property ID or the ZPID variable that you were able to capture from the query to your Zillow property ID field. So if you can see, let's go back to my item. After it succeeded with code 0, it updated my Zillow property ID field with that combination of numbers, right, which is right here. Right, cool. And then moving forward, now we want to check then if the code is 0, that means successful. If the code is 0, we want to proceed with our next query, which is getting the information of this specific property. Now, again, we would want to have an if, just so we could check if the code is 0. That's going to be variable code equals 0. If that's successful, we want to do another remote post or get action. And this time we will use the deeper query variable right here. So for the URL that's going to be changed, that's going to be same http://www.zillow.com/webservice/ and then this time it's going to be get deep search results HTM. Alright, again, pause the video if you would need to take note of that. And then the next is, of course, our parameter. Of course, it's going to be a get request as well, not post, but get. And then the parameters would be, again, the ZWS ID, which you already have on the first remote post or get action. So you have that already. And then ampersand address, you already have that as well. And seed and state, you already have that as well on the first remote post or get. And last but not the least, we want the rent estimate to be true. Of course, we want to capture our rent estimate for this property. Alright, so once it's done, again, we will create variables to extract whatever return values our query was able to capture. So from here we can then capture the most important information for our property, which are the number of beds, bath, finished square footage, lot size square footage, estimate, and rent estimate, as well as tax year, tax assessment. The variables would be the same with how you extracted the codes and the Zillow property ID. So all you need to do is just change the tags right in here. So for the bed, that's going to be bedrooms. Just change this part. Bathrooms, change this part. Of course, this time you are going to use the variable deeper query result, since this is the last remote post or get that you did. not the search query anymore. And other variables right here. Right, so if we visit the Zillow API for the deep search results, this is how it would look like. So if it was able to pull the information for our property address, here are the details that you would need. So as you can see, you could even pull the latitude, longitude, FIPS county number if that's gonna be relevant to your research. Use code if this is single family, condominium. Use code list is just right here if you scroll above. Yeah, that's gonna be the use codes. What else? Tax assessment, we're capturing that. Tax assessment year built, you can capture that. Lot size, square footage, finished square footage, bathrooms, bedrooms, last sold date, last sold price, even last sold price. If you want to capture that, just add this to your tag, currency USD, and then the amount, last updated, every information. This page is very rich information to search for using GlobiFlow. So yeah, and then after you've done the variables for the information that you would need, again, just to be clever, I wanted to add a comment so that I could see all the information that was being pulled. So I wanted to be clever with a system message, bolded part, property details pulled from Zillow, and then one by one I enumerate all the variables that I was able to prepare above on to this comment action right here. And then I update my lead. Of course, I want to update the beds and baths field with whatever the value I have on my variables. So yeah, there we go. And I close my if statement right here. Alright, so let me save this. Just to show you it's properly working, I'm gonna add another lead. Mary Jones. I'm gonna save this lead, of course, and I'm gonna do a follow-up for this lead. I'm gonna talk to her, and then the property address, find out what's the actual address of the property they're looking to sell. Of course, if I already have that, I'll input it here. Let me just have let's say this 445 Random Road, Baltimore, Maryland. Here. You see, Google is very clever as well. I googled random Zillow address, and it gave me all addresses with random streets to be listed as a result. Weird, but clever. So if I place it right here, and if I click on this, I updated it, and then voila, GlobiFlow was able to pull the information for that. System message, lot square footage, finished square footage, bedrooms. Oops, looks like it doesn't have a bedroom. Bathroom 1.5, estimate, rentimate, tax assessment year, and yeah, that's all there is. So it looks like our record does not have any beds at all, or it doesn't have a record of number of beds in Zillow database. But yeah, the flow is working. All right, thank you very much.